Hello, everyone. Welcome to the info session on CPD requirements, the mandatory ethics training, and the online reporting system. My name's Holly Gurn. I'm the Professional Standards Manager with CPHR Saskatchewan. I would like to acknowledge that we were gathered on the traditional territories covered by various treaties across Saskatchewan in the homeland of the Métis. I am joining you today from Treaty 6 territory in Saskatoon. We honor and pay our respects to the First Nations and Métis ancestors of this land, and we reaffirm our ongoing relationships and commitment to one another. So our time today is going to look like this. We're going to go over the CPD requirements, where to find key information, understanding the 3-year rolling period, the mandatory ethics requirement explained. I will walk you over to the CPHR website and show you where you can find various resources. And then I will show you the online reporting system and go over some helpful tips and tricks. The CPD requirements have two components. There's an annual requirement, which is a minimum of 10 CPD hours between January 1st and December 31st of every year. Then there's also a 3-year rolling period where a minimum of 60 CPD hours is required over any 3-year rolling period. And within that 60 hours, there's a minimum of 3 hours of mandatory ethics training. The submission deadline is January 15th, and it's strongly recommended to enter your hours by December 31st. If you are unable or fail to meet the January 15th deadline, there will be a $50 late fee, and then from there, you will be invoiced and you have 15 days to submit your hours. It's always best to get a minimum of 20 CPD hours per year to meet that 60 CPD hours over the 3-year rolling period. If you are a brand new CPHR, so you passed the VOE process with CPHR Saskatchewan and earned the designation in 2025, you start entering your CPD hours January 1st, 2026. So the CPD hours starts the year after receiving the designation. If you came to CPHR Saskatchewan through another HR association, such as CPHR provincial associations, HRPA in Ontario, SHRM, CIPD in the UK, CIPM Nigeria, or CIPM Sri Lanka, and you moved to Saskatchewan in 2025, then you start submitting your hours in the year that you moved here. Your 3-year rolling period is always rolling and continues indefinitely. You're always examining the most recent 3 years. So by December 31st of each year, 60 hours, including a 3-hour ethics course, must be accumulated in the current 3-year rolling period. So the oldest of the 3 years will be discarded, and you will need to accumulate enough hours to reach 60 hours for that 3-year period, with a minimum of 10 years in any given year. So as an example, if your 3-year rolling period started on January 1st, 2019 or 2020, 2021, 22, or 2023, you are now in your current 3-year rolling period, January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2025. Your next 3-year rolling period is January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2026. And then January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2027, and so on. If you just earned your designation in 2024 and 2025 is your first year for submitting, you are in your 3-year period of January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2027, as an example. If you came to us through one of the other CPHR associations, HRPA, SHRM, CIPM Nigeria, CIPD UK, or CIPM Sri Lanka, again, you enter your CPD hours the year in which you moved here. So 2025 would be your first 3-year rolling period. And you start January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2027. For the ethics training, you are required to take an ethics course once per 3-year rolling period. It must be a minimum of 3 hours. There is a free course offered by CPHR Canada through Alexi, and it must be entered correctly into the online reporting system to ensure proper tracking of the dates in the report. And I'll show you how that's done when we get over to the online reporting system. So as an example, say my rolling period was January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2024. And I took the course October 17th, 2022. I have met the CPD requirement during that 3-year period. But now I'm in my next rolling period of January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2025. And I must take an ethics course again by December 31st of 2025. So check your email to see that you've received a message from info@alexi.com, or you can go to the CPD page on the website and click on the mandatory ethics training for the link. If you did not receive the email from Alexi and you've checked your junk or your spam, please email info@cphrsk.ca and we can send that link through Alexi again. So if your rolling period is starting January 2026, so that's your first year, you will receive registration. You will receive the registration for the ethics course in January of 2026. So within the first couple of weeks of January. Some CPD hours are pre-approved for CPD hours. You may see this logo here, and that means they're automatically eligible for CPD hours. So just look for the logo and you'll be able to tell it should have how many hours it's been pre-approved for underneath. Not all courses or activities need to be approved. You can still claim CPD hours as long as it falls under the qualifying activities. And so just refer to that document and I will show you when we get to that web page. There's a CPD hours audit. 3% of CPD submissions are audited each year. Selection is random and notifications are sent by March. You'll have 3 to 4 weeks to submit your documentation and guidelines will be provided. Please keep all your documentation for 18 months after the calendar year ends. So as an example, for the end of December 31st, 2025, retain your documentation until June 30th of 2027. Should a professional member not be able to produce documentation to support the CPD hours that are submitted, the information will be deleted from the system, and this may result in a professional member having less than the required minimum of 10 CPD hours. So as stated previously, strongly recommended you participate and submit more than the minimum hours required. So you will find all the information related to CPD on our website at www.cphrsk.ca. Make sure you're signed in, and there you will also find the online reporting system where you enter your CPD hours. If you're entering your CPD hours within the first 2 weeks of 2026, between January 1st and the 15th, be sure to manually change the year to 2025 in the online reporting system. Otherwise, your hours may show in 2026 and you're not going to receive the credit that you need for 2025. So just double check that the system has accepted the correct year. Additional hours cannot be entered after January 15th, 2026, unless you have received a late invoice from us, and then you have the 15 days to submit it. So I am just going to walk over to the CPHR website here, so just bear with me. So you would go to www.cphrsk.ca. Again, make sure you're signed in up here. Otherwise, you won't be able to access all the things you are entitled to on the website. To find additional CPD hours and things you can attend, go to Learn and Connect. You can see that we've got our conference coming up. You want to click on the learning calendar, and you can see the various sessions that are being offered. We have a monthly book club. There's some professional development through other organizations, so you can go through and click there. There's PD on demand, where you can find a number of free sessions. Some do require money, so click on that. And you will need to sign up. So it goes through CPHR BC. You're going to need to know where your member ID number is, and I will show you where that is. So when you have signed on, if you go to my profile, it's going to show you my information here, but you will see your member ID there. That is different than your CPHR number. Sometimes you're asked for your CPHR number. So scroll down and you will find your CPHR Canada number down here. And if you go back to Learn and Connect, you can continue through and take a look and see what's available to you. There's our mentorship program where you can earn CPD hours there. And then there's other resources on the website. There's a job board too. There's Protecting the Public, where you can learn more about CPHR Saskatchewan being regulated. And now I'm going to go back to CPHR. I am a CPHR. And you're going to go to Continuing Professional Development. There's a few links here. CPD requirements, which we've gone over. CPD summary of qualifying activities. So I've already opened this, so it'll open in another site. And there's 5 different categories, and within the categories, there's subcategories. So there's new projects, which sometimes can be difficult to get hours in. There's leadership, mentoring, teaching, and facilitation. So tip here, if you are the first one to develop a new course, workshop, or seminar, and you can claim hours based on the duration of the course, workshop, or seminar. It may have taken you more hours to create, but you can only claim hours based on the duration. So excluding registration, social breaks, and meal breaks. If you're also the one that is teaching or facilitating the course, workshop, or seminar for the first time, You can claim hours for that too. If it's already been taught or facilitated, you cannot. So again, it's based on course duration. And there's keynote speaker and guest lecturer at national, provincial, or regional conferences. And the mentorship program. So CPHR Canada has a mentorship program. There you get CPD hours based on the mentorship program of CPHR Saskatchewan or an academic institution. You can get a maximum of 10 hours per year. If you participated in an executive coaching program. And then the next category is governance. So if you serve on a board of directors for an organization, you can claim hours for that. And it's based on actual time contributed. So make sure you document all your hours for meetings, for the prep time, for any subcommittees that you're on. There's also an active committee advisory group task force membership. Now, this one's a little bit more specific. It must be a professional association, government, and or post-secondary institution where you can claim hours for that. And you must be able to demonstrate responsibilities for completing work and or leading subcommittees, also based on actual time contributed. Category 4 is learning. This is where the majority of you will get your CPD hours. So you can get hours if you've taken a university, college, or technical institute course through an undergraduate or graduate program. And it's based on instructional hours. So assignments, study time, writing exams don't count. If you're not sure on how many hours, then touch base with the institution and find out how many educational hours it is based on, or instructional hours. The next one is seminars, workshops, webinars, and conferences. And that's where your ethics training falls in. But you enter that one a little bit differently in the online reporting system, and I'll show you that. This next one, self-directed learning, roundtables, non-credit courses. You can get a maximum of 5 CPD hours a year. So over your 3-year rolling period, that's 15 CPD hours. You do not need to show documentation for this subcategory if you're audited. And it's really easy to get hours there. So I strongly recommend you do that. So over your 3-year rolling period, 5 hours per year. So you only need to obtain an additional 45 hours over that 3-year rolling period. And again, self-directed learning, reading books, articles, magazines tied to business, leadership, HR, or listening to podcasts. The last category, we don't see a lot of people getting hours in this, but it's under research and publication. So conducting research, authoring a journal or case study, and you can read up on that. Publishing a textbook, co-authoring or editing a major work, acceptance of a master's thesis or graduating paper at a master's level, acceptance of a doctoral dissertation in an area directly related to HR or a business related subject, and HR or business related book review, editorial, or article which must be published in order to get credit. I'm going to go back over to our page here. So this webinar will be uploaded here. We have leave of absence, which you can take a look at. You must be away from the workplace and meet certain criteria for 3 months or more. And then the mandatory ethics training. You can click there and take a look. And it'll tell you the email address for Alexi that you can search your emails. You can also use this link here. If that doesn't work, please email info@cphrsk.ca. And there's some helpful documents and tutorials under here. CPHR competency framework. Um, I had mentioned the pre-approved CPD hours. You can click here and it'll show you a list of CPD hours that have been pre-approved for 2025 for various companies. That just makes it easier when you're entering your hours to know how many hours have been pre-approved and that you would enter. And then I'm going to click on the CPD online reporting system. And I did that just before we started this session and I opened it up. It's going to walk you to here. It's going to show you your dashboard. So I'm currently in my 3-year rolling period, January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2025. So I need to meet that minimum of 60 hours and have that ethics course. Here, it will show you where you are on an annual basis. And you can click down here to choose a year if you like. I don't personally use this section very much. The hour input history will show you your last 4 entries that you've made. So that's not going to be all of your hours that you've entered. To see that, you're going to click on View Full History. And it'll take just a little bit to open up. And again, it's going to show me my 3-year rolling period that I'm in, January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2025. If you're in your first year of entering CPD, then it'll just show January 1st, 2022, 2025. I'm going to come back to this later. I want to show you how to enter hours. So you're going to go back. You can enter hours from your dashboard, or you can also go to the menu and click Enter Hours here. So on the menu, you can click on Dashboard, depending on where you were previously, the CPD requirements, leave of absence information, your declaration, which must be submitted when you're done entering your hours. And I'm going to take you to that. So it shows all the years that I've done my declaration. When you're ready to submit, you're going to read the information here, click on the little boxes and click Submit. And then it'll pop up here that you've completed your declaration. I don't want to do it now because I'm not done submitting my hours. If you have made an error and submitted your declaration early and still have some hours to enter, you can still enter those hours. It's just preferable to do it once you're done entering all your hours. So we cannot go in and undeclare you if you've completed the declaration too early. So I'm going to enter my hours just to show you. We'll start by entering ethics training. So once you have completed the course, if it's the one that is through Alexi, make sure you complete the 2 surveys at the end. Otherwise, the course will not show as completed and you will not receive the proper credit for it. So we're going to go here. I'm going to pick dates. Let's say I did it today. It always already pops up ethics training and CPHR Canada. No need to change that information. If you change ethics training, it doesn't pull the information properly. We know that it's a 3-hour course. Here you just enter 3 hours to get the proper credit. And you are going to click on either submit and return to the dashboard or submit and create another. So I'm going to go to submit and return to the dashboard. Then I'm going to go to view full history. And on this page, it's going to show that I last completed the course on August 25th. It will also show down here when my declarations were last completed. So now I want to go back. So I want to go back to my dashboard and click enter hours from here. I'm going to go back to learning. Oh, sorry, I need to click on which one I want to enter the hours in. So let's say I want to do seminars, workshops. Click on a start date. So let's say back on August 21st. I'm going to put the example. Say it was through CPD Sask. It was from 12 to 1 p.m. So 1 hour. Explain a brief description. Enter 1 hour. And hit either one of these buttons. So I'm going to do submit and return to the dashboard. I'm going to go to view full history. I'm going to show you how to edit or delete an entry. So let's say it was my last entry. When you get here, you can either click on expand all and scroll down to where you want, or you can collapse it and say, I just want to go to learning because that was my last entry. I'm going to click on seminars, workshops, webinars, and conferences. And I am going to change this one here. So to edit it, you're going to click on the I. And then I'm going to click edit again. And say it was called example test instead. So I'm going to update that information. It's going to show that the entry was updated. If I go back into there, it's going to show right here that it was updated. So let's say I made a mistake with this ethics training that I had already entered it previously. I want to delete that entry. So are you sure? And it deleted it. And it also shows that it was removed from here. And if I go back to learning, it's no longer showing up here. If I just wanted to look at my 2025 hours, I can go in and change the date. You have to click on a day for it to accept it there. So January 1st to December 31st, 2025. Click submit because you want to make sure you see that the dates have been accepted up there. And it shows now for 2025 only. I'm going to go back. Oh, it's not too far back. Okay. I'm going to show you how to run reports to see where your hours are. So you will click download, and this is the same type of report we run if somebody contacts us and says, can you tell me what my hours are? You're able to do the same thing. So I want to know, because I'm in my 3-year rolling period, what I need to do for hours and where things are sitting. So I'm going to click download. and it's going to show in a CSV format. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. So it shows in 2023, I had 69.5 hours, 2024, 85.25 hours, 2025, 28.75 hours. So I have overall in that 3-year rolling period, 183.5 hours. So I have met more than enough for the minimum requirement of 60 CPD hours. For the annual requirement in 2025, I needed a minimum of 10 hours, which I've also exceeded. And then I needed to take ethics this year. So it shows that I have ethics and I have met the requirements. I just need to complete the declaration by the deadline date. If you want to see, sorry, I didn't have that report showing in the right screen. You wouldn't have been able to see that at all. Let's try this again. So this is the report that will come up. And I wanted it between January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2025. So it shows all of my hours. It shows that I've met the requirement for 2025. I've got more than 10 hours. It shows that I have met the requirement of 60 hours in a 3-year rolling period. That's January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2025. And that I have taken the ethics course. So again, I just need to complete my declaration by the deadline date. If I just wanted to see what I have for 2025, or if you're just in your first year for entering CPD, it'll show up just with 2025. So I'm going to click on submit, download. It's going to pop up. It's going to make columns bigger. 28.75 hours for 2025. So I've met the annual requirement of a minimum of 10 hours. If you want to print your reports, you can. Click on print. Pick the printer where you want it to go to, or you can also save it as PDF. Totally up to you. So again, I'm going to go back to my dashboard. I can also click on declaration. I want to go over there and complete the declaration. Again, it shows my most recent entries that I have done. Again, don't panic, it only shows the 4 most recent ones. So for the most part, you're going to be looking at the view full history. And seeing where your hours are and what's been entered. Best practice is to enter your hours as at the end of an activity and save the documentation. It just makes things easier so you don't have to remember later on. So you would pick which category you're in. So say it's board service. I'm going to click on that and enter the dates, the hours spent. So you may have numerous dates. So maybe it was January 2nd, 25, 3 hours, January 10th, 2 hours, and so on and so forth. You're going to put board director, organization, explain your role and your responsibilities, and then depending on how many hours you have. So as an example, I just entered 5 for now. So submit and return to the dashboard, or submit and create another if you have more entries. Oh, I didn't fill in the dates, so let's go back to January. And because it's going to go all year, I'm going to put until December. And then I can just always come back and update the dates as I go. So it's showing here on my dashboard how many hours I entered. And again, going back to view full history. Okay. So that covers off the online reporting system. And the website, again, CPHR. I am a CPHR, down to continuing professional development. Just bear with me. I'm just going to change screens again. Touch on the moment. So if you have any questions at all, you can reach out to info@cphrsk.ca. If it's regarding CPD, leave of absence, the online reporting system, the ethics course, membership, invoices, event registration, or anything else, your email will then be forwarded to the appropriate team member. So that wraps up this info session. Thank you for your time. Take care.